Launches a full-scale invasion of Latvia, which sparks a nuclear war, with the US and Britain coming to defend their NATO ally. That's how a new BBC show envisages what's being called World War III.
American soldiers launched an offensive overnight.
What would Britain really do?
Our objective is to get the Russians out of Latvia.
On the brink of World War III.
You are edging us further and further towards Armageddon.
For the first time ever.
The world teeters on the edge of nuclear war.
Well, the docu-show features real-life retired military and diplomatic figures who brainstorm how the fictional scenario will unravel. In particular, decision-makers debate a nuclear strike on Russia in retaliation. As RT's Laura Smith reports, it's not the first example either of Moscow being demonized in a TV series of late.
Over in Norway, there's a TV drama series which again envisages, you've guessed it, Russia as the aggressor. In that one, Russian commandos kidnap the Prime Minister, and locals have to decide whether to collaborate or go into some sort of resistance movement. Critics there say that it's pretty much designed to inflame fears of Russian aggression. So there we have those two fictional examples of programmes on television at the moment, but it's really only a case of art reflecting life. In real life, Western officials are stepping up their rhetoric against Moscow. This week, the US Secretary of Defense, Ashton Carter, put Russia at the very top of a list of national security threats, which included countries like North Korea and Iran. Over in Sweden, the army chief reportedly said in an internal memo that Sweden could be at war within a few years, and the implication gathered from other sources was that the opponent he was talking about was Russia. Meanwhile, of course, Russia is fighting terror in Syria, incidentally also coming under fire from the UK Foreign Secretary Philip Hammond for its strategy there. So fighting terror in Syria and also playing a key role in mediating a peace deal there. So the question is really, who is the real warmonger, and what exactly is the West trying to achieve with these TV shows and then, of course, in real life, statements like that?
RT asked the BBC to comment on the documentary. In its response, it said that the idea of the show has been causing public debate for years. It also claimed, quote, the scenarios were developed over many months of research and in consultation with military, diplomatic and political experts around the world. But British historian and Russian affairs analyst Martin Macaulay says there are other motives for such programming.
That is called psychological warfare, and the way you influence people is by repetition. Keep on saying the same thing. If you present Russia as the bad boy and President Putin as the ogre, the one who's a threat to world peace, gradually people will accept that. He's seen as the bad guy because he's challenging the West. He's saying no longer Russia is not down and out, Russia is a sovereign state, it's going to defend its own interests and so on. And many people in the West don't like this because they want to see Russia as a very weak state. And this narrative now is creeping back in and is going to the genes, really, of the British population.
And how a possible World War III might unfold has been on the minds of Russian and US diplomats on Twitter, as they argued over a vintage magazine cover depicting a fictional map of Europe in the future. To see each point of view, you can check out the debate on our website rt.com.